Somebody call a doctor because bad medicine is back. That's the Appleton Oak. I'm Mason Quinn. Folks, today it's finally time for us to get back to the final season of Cobra Kai. This is, of course, season 6, episode 11. And after the way things left off, I'd be lying if I would say I haven't been waiting for this one for quite a while, so I want to get to it.
Oh, it is the beginning of the end, Mason Quinn. What an absolutely incredible ride these 6 seasons have been. Huge shout out to everybody involved. They revived, refreshed, renewed one of the all-time classics and did it in an absolutely incredible way. Down to the last handful of episodes. Can't wait to see how they finish the story.
All right, with that being said, let's go!
Hey, Steve, can I get a water?
Coming right up. Got a fresh pack right down here. Oh, my back. Oh.
Uh-oh. Looks like Steve's back just called it quits.
Some help would be good right about now.
Yeah, you're gonna need some help with that, Steve. Your injury could be worth millions. You should consider calling Morgan & Morgan. Morgan & Morgan is America's largest injury law firm,
with more than 1,000 lawyers and 4,000 case staff ready to fight for you if you become their client.
But Steve's worried. He doesn't have the cash to pay for expensive legal fees. Worry no more. Morgan & Morgan will fight for every penny you deserve. And guess what? The fee is absolutely free, unless you win. But Steve doesn't want to sue his boss, even though he hasn't gotten his surgery bills covered in the last 6 months. Steve, when you sue for an injury, you're not suing your boss. You're suing the insurance company.
So if you've been a victim in a workplace injury or any other personal injury, you can hit the link in the description to get Morgan & Morgan to fight for you.
Steve did, and now he's back in the game.
Oh, kicking things off with Marty.
Soon.
Did not see that coming.
We have been his family since he was a boy.
I caused this.
We all did, grandfather. Sooner or later, we will face his consequences.
Oh boy.
Whoa, what a cold open.
Coming in hot.
I don't mean that bad.
It'll be tight to graduate, but college may not be in the cards.
There's always a way to fast track these things, especially for talented kids like Robbie.
We'll do whatever it takes to support him. But as I tell a lot of our football players, Robbie's unlikely to go professional in his chosen sport. You know, I once had a dream of building my life around field hockey.
Field hockey.
Johnny's not loving it.
A lot of people in his situation look at trade school and other alternative paths. Try to keep an open mind about what life might be like without karate.
Going
Let's
to
not
trades?
go hard on the trade
Yeah.
schools here.
Do you want to make 6 figures with no debt?
No, there's something off with him. I mean, the poor dude saw a kid die.
Yeah, I heard he was the one who flipped the kid over.
Are you serious? Flipped him over. What is he, a pancake?
So did they never finish the tournament or did they just postpone it?
I think looks like everybody just went home afterwards.
Bonsai?
No more bonsais to customers. We're moving away from that. And what are you guys doing standing around? The anniversary party's in 2 days, okay? And guess what? You guys are my right-hand men. So you're on decorating duty just like the old days.
Moving away from bonsai trees?
Yeah.
Now, come on, get started getting that banner hung up. Come on, coffee's down, will you?
No more bonsai trees.
Yeah, coffee's down.
Is he all soured because Miyagi
Good
wasn't
news,
who he
that guy
thought he
you saw
was
in the
or something?
cartoon Works in admissions at UCLA. You think Sam has a great shot of getting in?
That does sound nice.
You're holding so much tension.
That's an understatement.
Getting a Gunther story here?
Interesting.
Wow.
It's wrong.
There's our guy.
I don't recall inviting you. You were a champion once, weren't you, Gunther? The Sekai Taikai. karate in general. There's no such thing as bad publicity. I believe you just quoted P.T. Barnum. I'm not a clown. Right now, you are.
Ooh.
The tournament is canceled. There is no alternative.
There it is.
No, there's something better. Reclaim the tournament. Make it bigger. Let the world see the good. What happened was a freak accident with a foreign object off the mat.
I mean, when you put it that way.
PR, he's got his PR team all over it.
Yep.
I admit, the Sekai Taikai ending on my watch would be devastating. We have to face the fact that a competitor died, and we will honor him, not bury his memory. The last images of the Sekai Taikai can be bloody.
He's very upset.
He is.
The only way we could even consider restarting the tournament is if everyone, and I mean everyone, is fully on board.
So now Silver's got to get Daniel back on board?
Yep.
Mr. Braun said the tournament can return if everyone agrees.
Quiet.
No discussion. We will return to tournament, and we will avenge our student. They take one of our. We take.
Jesus.
A karate tournament.
We're still talking karate.
Ooh, look at that.
Ooh, is that a throat punch on the far right? It's a throat strike.
Yeah. Pressure point. Ooh, up underneath the rib cage.
너희 도적에서 가르칠 그릇이 안 돼. I train special student once.
Is her hand bleeding?
Yeah.
You'll learn the same. Chris, pull me up.
Oh, what a connection.
Mercy. 유미! 인사!
Live rounds?
We learn by punishment. Punishment for failing students.
Oh, did you hear that squelch?
Sorry!
Oh, is he just going to work the whole team?
Yeah, that's what it looks like. Oh, he's going up underneath his ribs.
Still not perfect.
Oh, you know it's bad when it's making Crease cringe.
Listen, the kids are really struggling with this tournament being ripped away. So close to the end.
I know, but we need to move on. There's no other choice.
Did you hear who your dad sold a car to this morning?
I did, like 10 times.
You hear who I sold a car to this morning?
See?
Who?
A big shot at UCLA admissions.
Wow, Sam, that's amazing.
Yeah, I mean, it's still early though.
Oh, well, it could just mean being closer to home, Meg. Being closer to UCLA.
Yeah.
Here comes the opportunity.
Oh, here it comes. Here's the call.
Yep.
Hello? Yeah, Sensei Lawrence is here too.
Did they say when they're going to start it back up? A couple weeks, month or two? You say if we're going back to Barcelona or somewhere else?
All right, slow down, John.
Why? You don't think everyone's going to be back on board?
No, because I'm not. And we need to move on.
You said we were moving on because we don't have a choice. We could still win.
Johnny, a kid died. I made my decision. Now, come on, let's get back to work.
It's bullshit. It's like he didn't even consider it for a second. Meanwhile, he's got me on balloon duty, which literally blows.
Nice shirt. Yeah.
We should at least get the vote on it. Come on, you stupid piece of crap.
It looks like there's parts missing. It was recommended.
Ew, LaRusso's again.
Maybe this grip should be for you.
Oh, wow.
You've had so much success working for the LaRussos.
No dojo of my own. It's not exactly the dream.
Most people don't get to live their dreams. We have a lot.
So this is where our little girl's gonna sleep. I know we got so much good in our lives. Was ready to let go of the dream.
Better tighten up that crib.
Oh, let me guess. There he is.
Fortunately, the decision was not unanimous.
It was LaRusso, wasn't it?
Oh, he doesn't accept that.
Gotta have that sat phone out on that yacht.
Just feeling a bit nauseous. I need to drop in on a friend in the valley.
Oh, what's this now?
That medication was curious, and the fact that he's feeling nauseous.
Master Kim, may I speak to you privately?
What you say You say to all.
About the lesson today. I don't think she should be teaching this. I've decided we are not returning to the Sekai Taikai.
Oh, wow. It wasn't just Daniel.
Not your decision.
I made it my decision.
Now you have something that no longer belongs to you.
You don't think we'd get a crease back on the good side arc, do you?
I don't know.
Johnny and Daniel would never allow it.
Whoever would have thought that Johnny and Daniel would work together?
This is a little different level, though, isn't it?
They've been through a lot. We'll see.
넌 내 자리를 원하지만 넌 힘이 없어.
제가 사범이 될 수 있습니다. 전제 평생을 바쳤습니다.
아주 힘든 일이야.
And we're still talking about a karate tournament here.
We are.
Look at my men hard at work.
There's a test drive out front. They asked for you by name.
Tighten that up a little bit, huh?
Do I know you?
I never forget a LaRusso.
I want the tea on the city, the food, the Spanish men.
Oh, I don't know. It was nice to get out of the valley bubble.
Yeah, what we all giddy about. UCLA.
Are you kidding? She's not going to UCLA. This girl is dying to get away from home.
Been looking a little further from home, but I just didn't want to say anything yet.
Look, I had the same instincts when I was your age.
Clearly, you know Daniel is messed up.
I may personally be enjoying him putting his attention on the dealership, but that's just because
you
we're
don't got to justify it to me. I play this game too. I got a noose right where I want it.
No. There are no games. You just need some time to adjust.
Oh.
No, I got.
Noosh. Oh.
All right, let's do this.
Much as I'd love to finish what we started in Barcelona, it's not a good idea to attack a man when he's driving.
He's off the rails.
Why you got my way with Crease, but I do know you and I want the same thing. Tournament continuity. I'll have a way to do it that will make everyone happy. LaRusso, maybe we can help him. No. Do the kids even know this option is on the table?
Oh, that's a good point. Yep, he's got a point.
Well, spend the rest of your life doing test drives for LaRusso. You know, I'm not quite ready to buy yet.
How much you want to bet Daniel finds the business card?
And Johnny's going to be like, Terry Silver's an ass, but he's
Terrence
right.
Silver. Look at that. A stainless steel business card with just a phone number. That's high class.
I guess I should start packing. I don't have any place else to go. I made a lot of mistakes with Quan and with Johnny.
You did help you.
Clarity came late. Dude, like 40 years late?
You don't need me anymore. I don't think anybody ever did.
Oh.
It's time for men like me to step aside. There are times in life and war where you can't show mercy. But if you devote your life to that concept, it consumes you.
I too need to do something difficult.
Oh, boy.
You will lead your dojo and lead it your way. You do what you have to do, and I will be proud of you for it.
Oh, what did grandfather tell her to do?
Yep. Well, she's not going to take him out, Oak, if that's what you're thinking.
I think it's time for me to rest.
Like grandfather handed her the blade. She wanted him to,
Yeah.
I know things got out of control in Barcelona, but maybe it's causing you to hold on a little too tight to control here. I'm sure it's going to get worse when Sam tells you she doesn't want to go to UCLA.
Oh, she's busting it out to him.
Yeah.
We need to be able to support each other moving forward.
The voice of reason.
Hey, I guess you heard about my little blow up, huh?
Do you trust me?
I do.
We're just gonna talk it out.
Oh, Terry Silver at Daniel's front door.
You're not here hat in hand. You're playing an angle.
I want the tournament back on. I'm here with full transparency at the mercy of your decision.
Mercy?
You pick the venue. You pick the refs. Everything. I will sign off and I will cover the cost. No more games. Just closure.
No more games. Right.
Closure.
My motives are the same as everyone who wants to see this through. Everyone on my team your team, for the senseis and the kids.
Bullshit. Seconded.
Terry's got me convinced.
You want to know why I need this?
He doesn't have long.
Because it's the only thing I have left. The only thing I can have now is one last win.
But I saw you at the hospital. You're sick.
Sick is an understatement.
I knew it.
You can verify it on your own if you care to. You needed to know my angle, and now you do. Whatever decision you make for everyone.
A lot of kids would benefit from the tournament.
I wonder if the nausea on the boats from chemo, maybe.
Yeah.
The kids really want this, huh?
They do.
We want this.
The decision's to move on. We'll move on.
I told you. That's the task.
She's not going to take him out.
Is he sleeping on a wood bed?
It's not him. It's a dummy. It's a test.
They did the close-up shot so you can't see where he's at.
Yep, see?
Is she going to follow through with it, though?
That's the thing. Will she go for it?
이 할아비를 죽여는 게.
Oh.
죽여.
Oh, Grandpa's aggressive.
Yeah. Oh. Oh. She really just take out her own grandfather?
What did you do?
What did you do?
What I needed to.
Oh, there's no blood on the blade.
As you said, I will lead this Tojang. This will be the last time you and I will see each other, John. But you still have time to be what you want to be.
I have been the bad guy for so long.
Oh, indeed.
Yes.
I don't think I'll be able to change that. I still have some unfinished business.
Wow, I didn't expect her to delete her own grandfather. Like, I know he was an ass, but...
I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. You know, a family means that we love and support each other no matter what. You know, in the early days of this business, things were pretty uncertain. We knew we were taking a risk. We had no idea if we'd be well received. We trusted that it would all work out okay. Here's to the next step forward. Cheers.
Is the tournament back on?
Oh, the music.
It's true.
Bring them on.
There we go. There you go. All right. Well, what an episode, folks. It feels so good to be back. And look, this episode had to lay the groundwork as soon as, and like, I didn't catch the way Johnny caught Terry Silver coming out of the hospital. I just caught it on the boat when he said he's feeling nauseous and he gave him the medicine. I'm like, well, a guy who lives on a yacht probably isn't going to get nauseous.
Yeah,
at
I
sea.
honestly just didn't catch that right away. I thought maybe he was having anxiety issues because the tournament was over. I honestly that.
That was immediately
right
where I went to. I was like, I went with the big C on thinking, you know, what he had, and then obviously confirmed that. So it's interesting how we're seeing the characters like with Kreese and with Terry Silver. It's like they're almost acknowledging their last ride a little bit, and they know that this is all they got, and they don't really seem to have a lot of underhanded, dirty tactics in mind. They just want to let it, at least with Terry, obviously, they just let it play out. What happens, happens. Let's see how it goes, sort of thing. And of course, Daniel and Johnny aren't going to trust them, but they're going to enter the tournament because obviously the kids want to. But this was really interesting because at first we didn't know where we were, what happened. I mean, we saw folks were back home. You know, Gunther was getting a massage somewhere, trying to be left alone. And then they kind of caught us up. So I liked how the story was presented. We kind of got dropped into it, and then they filled us in with info on the back end. The big surprise, and I've got to lean on you folks, and I don't know what you feel as well, Oak, if it'll make the cut, but Kim pretty much committed something that'll land you in jail.
Big M.
For a while. And I thought maybe she would get the better of him and he would yield. I didn't expect him to be taken out completely, which is a whole new riff because her character was kind of a little bit lighthearted and fun in the last couple of those seasons. You hooked up with Chosen, okay, let's not forget about that. And her character I thought was maybe going in a different direction, but then again, did she feel that look, how do you justify it? You really can't, but did she feel that she had to do that in order to move the dojo forward? That's what she seemed to think. But that one is a big question mark in my mind of look, you just 86 your own grandfather. But anyways, look, I'll try not to harp on that too much or to let that be too much of a sticking point for me because it felt so good to be back. I like the buildup that we're getting for this episode. And I know we thought before, well, how is it going to play out with the tournament? How are they going to do it? And now are we going to have just a straight up tournament back in the old location with some real similar vibes to some of the earlier movies? I think it's going to be interesting, but I really liked what the characters went through. They were all kind of dealing with life after karate to a certain extent and what that might be if the tournament doesn't go on. Obviously, we saw it with Johnny. That's kind of what he thought his thing would be. Instead, I liked on one hand, he's like, all I'm ever going to do is work for the LaRussos, but then she's like, well, you have us. This is what you have now. And then that's something that I think a lot of people might do when you're so hyper-focused towards a dream or a goal, you kind of forget what's right in front of you. So I like that they had that in there.
Yeah, what this feels like to me is it feels like the setup for, look, obviously it's the setup for the big exit, but I think with Silver and with Kreese, I almost feel like it's metaphorical for this entire series and this entire world of Karate Kid, right? Like we know there's a movie coming out after, right, but I don't know if from the previews that we saw, I don't know that Kreese and Silver are going to be in them. I would be surprised if Silver is maybe a cameo or something like that. But as far as the continuation of this story goes, this is it. And right now, this is a story that's 41 years in the I mean, who would have thought, right? Like when a Karate Kid came out in 1984.
Well, in 6 seasons on Netflix alone.
Yeah, 6 seasons. Well, first on YouTube Red.
Yeah, YouTube Red, yeah.
Netflix picks up the rest of it. But look, it's been such an incredible ride, and I feel like that's kind of what they're symbolizing here. It's almost like, kind of twofold. Like, yep. Sensei Kreese's character is getting older. Terry Silver, for as much as you might dislike his character on the show, you wouldn't wish that upon anybody. But it's kind of this like, hey, this is it, and it's not just these characters. It's like it's the adios to this universe. Now, I did find it interesting. We saw some promo materials, and I've stayed away from all the spoilers that I can. I shouldn't say spoilers because this just dropped, so not a lot of spoilers, but even a lot of the promotional materials. And Mason Quinn and I and the rest of the guys have talked about that on some of the other content that's promotional content, even trailers on certain shows and stuff. Like we usually try to watch the first one, but after that, it's like, okay, stay away.
I've seen enough.
To be spoiled. Like
I'm intrigued.
The Last of Us season 2 is coming up, and we watched the initial teaser, and there's been some other stuff since and some interviews, and we're kind of like, we just kind of want to save it. Mm-hmm. So I've stayed away from a lot of stuff, but I did see stuff about like them referencing it being back in the valley, and I was like, well, how's that gonna work?
Yep.
And I hadn't really thought like, I figured the Sekai Taikai would take a break over there. And I was like, okay, well, maybe they'll have the tournament and then they'll wrap it up back here. And now it seems like Terry Silver really put the ball in the court of Daniel and Johnny as far as where you want to have it, right? Now, might not be the most fair because let's remember this is an international tournament.
Right.
We have teams from Brazil, Russia, all over. So the other people now have to travel. But look, if we're talking about that narrative, it's all circling back and this is where it ends. What better spot for it to end than in the valley? And I think there's a lot about fan service here. You were right; they really had to set up these remaining handful of episodes. So this one was a little bit slower, but it's building up to what's next. It's telling the story. Miguel and Sam, not the way they thought it would end. Robbie, with all the trouble he's had, they're talking about him. Will he be able to finish high school? It was interesting. And look, the writers of the show and the guys who have created have done an incredible job. And so I know there's more behind it, but they were like, oh, you can attend a tech school. And I almost felt like that was a little bit of a throwback to how things were when the original Karate Kid came out. Like, look, I graduated high school in 1998. And at the time, like, if you were smart and you did anything, you went to a university. Like, the tech was like, wow.
It was college, jam it down your throat. Yeah.
And if you went to a trade school, one of me was a mechanical in MIT. It wasn't the MIT, but in any regard, as adults now seeing that, you're like, well, those are great options, for Robbie. But so I thought that was kind of I don't know if that was a throwback to the way things used to be. Like an old, like for a principal to say, well, he's not going to be able to, maybe get into a 4-year school, but he's got these other, trade options. Like, well, now it's like, okay, well, those are really good options still.
Yeah.
So I kind of, again, I didn't feel like that was as much of a dig on Robbie as much as that was kind of them telling the story that we heard at the original time the original came out.
Because you remember MIT was the one college that the other guy went to, and they're like, well, what do you mean? You thought you got into MIT? And he's like, no, this other one.
MIT, So, Hawk, because remember, Dimitri was getting into the regular MIT. Yep. Hawk got into the smaller one, I think, if I remember correctly. But in any regard, a lot of world building. Different to see Daniel kind of, we're getting rid of the bonsai trees. Obviously, I shouldn't say obviously, I feel very strongly that there's going to be a continuation of the Mr. Miyagi story, right? Daniel needs to learn more. He needs more in that background. But the fact that he came back and said we're getting rid of the bonsai trees, he feels like he's been lied to by Mr. Miyagi. He feels like he doesn't know the whole story, and so he wants to distance himself from that. And of course, his beautiful wife came in and
Mando with the save as always
the voice of reason. So again, a great episode. A little, it wouldn't be Karate Kid if they didn't go over the top heavy with certain things, like taking out the grandpa. It's like, we know this is still karate, right? The fact that the grandpa suggested that she needed to take out Grease.
Yeah.
Hey, you want this back? You literally have to go. Like, hey, it's a karate tournament for teenagers and young people. So those heavy themes that when you look at it, just real practical standpoint, they're like, wow, it seems a little bit much for karate. That's this whole universe, so it works.
Well, I am wondering if we are going to get a final redemption arc for as much stuff as they've done with both Terry and Kreese. I mean, Terry could leave scholarships or something to all the kids or whatever. I mean, he's in a position where if he chose to, he could do a lot of good on his kind of symbolic way out the door.
Look, this is it.
Yeah.
I mean, this is it. You're not, never say never, right? But the odds of any of these characters returning in any capacity other than maybe a cameo for the movie coming up is, I don't think it's there. I just don't. I think this is it. I think even when this came out, I was hesitant. Like, oh boy, is it gonna, what's it gonna be like? We kind of thought it was gonna be like a comedy, like they were gonna, kind of play off of, some of the things we saw on, How I Met Your Mother, which I've never really watched that show, but I know they did like this side story.
Okay.
But the fact that they did this as well as they did, and it's kind of still 80s feeling in a lot of regards, I could see them wrapping it up with a nice bow tie and having character arcs. Or look, hey, maybe Kreese rides off into the sunset, like
we just
literally,
never see him.
and that's that, and they keep a sense of mystery. But I'm so and we said it before in previous episodes, I probably won't harp on it too much throughout these final handful until we get to the last one, but I'm just so, I know this sounds cheesy, but I'm just so thankful that the guys who took the initiative to do this show has done as good of a job with it as they have, because they really took something that was iconic and important to a lot of people. It's a Karate Kid, big part of my childhood. Since the last part wrapped, My little guy is now in karate, doing karate, of course. Every time
mercy.
I post a picture, all my buddies are jumping in saying strike hard, strike first. No, strike first, strike hard, no mercy. You know, using the Karate Kid music. So I will say that the one thing that I hope more than anything for this series is that the final episode, they give us Joe Esposito, you're the best. Joe, if anybody who's on social media, Joe Esposito's original "You're the Best" got pulled from Instagram Reels in the Instagram library, which I find to be very interesting. That when this show started building up, he was probably seeing his music getting used a lot. Probably went to Meta and said, "Hey, you guys are gonna pay me." They probably said no. That's my one hope for this season. But look, an incredible start to the final portion. I know this is all season 11. We kind of say it like the final season, but the last handful of episodes. But
yeah, let us know your speculation. Will Terry have a redemption arc? He said he had nothing left. No family, no wife, no kids, no nothing. We'll see what happens with him. Or is he just a slimy snake in the grass as always? We'll find out. Folks, this is a lot of fun. We're starting the journey to the end. So for the Appleton Oak, I'm Mason Quinn. This has been Bad Medicine. That was Cobra Kai. We will catch you on the next one.